Hey everyone, hey everyone. Welcome to Military Wives Revival Sunday. Happy Resurrection Sunday, happy Easter, or whatever you say, but happy day. I want to welcome y'all to the Military Wives Revival Sunday. We haven't been here in a while, and I thought it was the perfect day to start again. So today I want to be talking about releasing and resurrecting. Perfect, right? Perfect for this Resurrection Sunday, right? And this is something that you can take beyond today. Because what I will say is, as wives, women, and just people in general, we have seasons to life. And so you may be in a season of releasing, you may be in a season of resurrecting, or you may be in a season of both, because sometimes it can be like boom, 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 right behind each other. So that happens. So what I want to talk about is 10 ways to release and resurrect. And what I will say, and for those of you coming on live, hello. Those of you who are going to be watching the replay, hello, hello, hello. I have a link below for a webinar for you to join. I'll have a link for the webinar you can join, just telling you that up front, so you can see me again, see my face again. And then I'll have a link for those of you who are not in Military Wives Collective or may know a military wife. You can send them to that link and to go to that group. So there's all of that up front. And, if you got questions, obviously put them in the comments. Because I just be gone for these, and I'll come back and I'll always respond or reply to them. Or if you're on Facebook, you can send me a message and I'll respond. But so releasing and resurrecting. I will say there are going to be times in our lives where we have to let go of things in order to resurrect something else. Sometimes, maybe most times, you can't hold on to this thing and then be reaching and grabbing and hoping for this other thing, whether that be your mannerisms, the things you do. Maybe you're trying to resurrect yourself after, transitioning to a duty station or just having a kid, resurrecting your dreams, things you've been wanting to do since you were a kid, but didn't get to do because you joined the military or your spouse joined the military or whatever. There are going to be seasons, and sometimes you have to let go of one thing in order to get to the other thing that was already there, just needs to be reawakened. So I'm going to go through these 10 things, and I'm going to obviously break them down and talk about them a little bit. But I know because it's Resurrection Sunday, I don't want to keep you all here all night. And honestly, I like the new time that we have because people on the West Coast can join and it's not too early for them. But it's right in that middle ground for us Central people and, East Coast people. And Mountain Time, I don't even know. But hopefully y'all can get in where y'all fit in, watch it live or watch it, once you come back. So the first one I have is, obviously, if this don't apply to you, make it work for you. But this is what worked for me and most people who I draw to this community. Give thanks to God. That's number one, because while it's the easiest in theory, like all up here, we know that it is hard for us to do in here, because in our minds, we give thanks to God, but in our heart, like, we holding on to that thing. We holding on, whatever it be, whether it be the marriage, whether it be your dream of being an entrepreneur, having your dream job at a firm, going to school for a certain thing, whatever it is, having kids, whatever. That is one of the things that I have found to be more challenging for people. And honestly, somebody would probably say, oh, it's not challenging. Well, okay, maybe just the rest of us is really imperfect people and we don't know ones that be struggling. But, it may not be as much of a struggle for other people, but it may be really, really a struggle for someone who already has trust issues or someone who's never really had to fully give their trust to anything or anyone. So, and I know that says a lot, and that's a whole nother topic. So we're not even going to touch that. But you got to give things to God. Your dreams, your children, your marriage, your whatever, your whoever, give it to God. That is, I would say, number one. And it's number one because I didn't want to talk about that anywhere else in here because I felt like it should be upfront. Obviously, if you're someone who's on here and who's watching and who don't believe in God, you know, release it and let it go. All of us, you know, yeah, another topic for another situation. But, you know, if God is not something you're doing and you have questions about that or you want to know more about that, always send me a message. You know, I'll feel free to answer anything, you know, you're curious about or whatever you're feeling, concerns or anything are. So, you know, you can always send me a message about that. But give thanks to God. That's first and foremost. And yeah, that's really, yeah, I know I feel that in here. And I could talk about that all day, but we're going to move on to number 2. We just going to do that. Focus on what is good. I know that's a challenge too. And I'm not reading these off because, you know, I've done them flawlessly, but I've done them, you know, and I've had to work through, and like most people work through doing these things because stuff will happen in military life and just military culture as a whole. Stuff will happen and it'll have you thinking like, this ain't it. This is for the birds. I don't want to do this no more. I can't wait till I'm out. My spouse, I can't wait till like, we not doing this stuff no more. Some of us call it a different term that I'm not going to say on here, but y'all know what I'm saying and y'all get what I'm, you know, putting down. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down. But focus on what is good. And what is good? You're alive, you have health, and even if you have some disabilities or something going on, there is always something good. You can breathe, you can see, you know, and there's always something good to grasp at. You woke up, you have an opportunity to impact someone. I would say your first circle of influence is in the home, your spouse, your kids, you know, and if your spouse was here, I would tell them the same thing. That's your first area of influence. You should never skip that or skip over that and go outside of that circle of influence and try to influence someone else. Charity begins at home. That's love. Always begins at home. So make sure that is your focal point, and then you can launch out there. So that's that. But again, I always kind of get off, but I have to mention that because it's important. So think about the things that's good in your life. Think about, you know, what was good for this moment, what was good for this day. You know, you don't have to think about, I know some people ask, what was good this week? I don't know because I don't remember all the things that I did this week because so many things was happening. What's good in this moment though? You can remember what happened in this moment that was good. I stood up for myself. I stood up for my kids. I was very calm today and I did not yell at a single soul. I would say that's a win. That's a win. So focus on what is good. Number 3, feed your soul with truth. And I say that because, you know, me and my kids just came off a soul retreat, and we'll talk about that another time. But it was, I can't even tell y'all how good this soul retreat was. Now for us, because, you know, we the Lucas tribe. And if y'all don't know about the Lucas tribe, you can go over to Instagram and follow the Lucas tribe. So it was the Lucas Soul Retreat. So it probably won't be called that when I do other things, but it was just me and my kids. So it was something for us. So of course I'm naming it after us. But we just did a soul retreat. And one of the things we did was soul sessions. And in those sessions, we talked about things that would feed our soul and things that don't feed our soul. Things that don't feed our soul is all the negative things, the lies, the stuff people say, the stuff people project onto us, all of that. So what is truth for you? For me, I start with the word of God, and then I work from there. And I make it personal, obviously, and I put it in my own words as pertaining to Teresa, because it has to be outside of your job, your title, your roles, all of those. Because before you were all those things, you were whatever your name is. You were a baby and you were whoever you are. Like before I was a mom, a wife, a Marine, or a leader, a coach right now, even in the future, a counselor, whatever my job is. Before I was any of those things, I was Teresa. And honestly, if we want to be honest, I kind of changed my name to Teresa because nobody could say my name other than people who were Hispanic. So, Teresa's easy for them. So, but before you were all those things, you were that person. So what feeds Teresa's soul? And those are the things that I need to focus on. And that would go back to number 2. Those things are good. So I'm gonna feed my soul with truth. Truth is good. It don't feel good all the time, but it is good. If that makes any sense to y'all. If it don't, put it in the comments. And then again, I'll explain that in detail or more in depth if you need it. Or if there's somebody motivated who's in the comments, they can do that for me. Isn't that great? So that's why community is so awesome. But okay, number 4, remind yourself of progress. Okay, when you're releasing and all of this stuff and trying to resurrect this dream, whatever it is, okay, sometimes you'll get stuck and be like, I ain't did nothing. I haven't done anything. Or you may, and that may not be true, but you may be feeling all of that. I haven't done nothing. I don't feel like I've done anything. I know I felt like that so many times. I felt like that. And I felt like, I just feel like I'm going in circles, or I feel like I ain't did nothing. But when I look back at the progress I've made, I'm like, oh, I've done a bunch of stuff. So you have to remind yourself by looking at the progress you've made. Okay, maybe you're not as snappy. Maybe you're not as hard on yourself. Maybe you haven't even yelled this week and you ain't even noticed. Maybe you've been more kind, or I'm gonna say more kind because the other word, Anyway, maybe you've been more kind this week to yourself and to others. Maybe you've given more grace. Maybe you gave a little bit of mercy. Some of those things be challenging for people, especially when you have to internalize those things. It's like, okay, it may be easier for me to give grace and mercy over here, but I sure don't be giving that to myself. Just saying. So remind yourself of your progress. And if you have to adjust, then do that. It is okay. It's okay. Because the thing is, we are all imperfect people, all of us. And we all have a journey. We all have some sort of progress. Like I said, remind yourself of the progress you've made, because you're always going to be one step closer than you were the day before. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. All right. Find something that affirms your newness. Whatever that newness is for you, like I talked about, maybe you didn't yell for the day or in the moment. You know what? I'm so proud of myself. I am so proud of myself. So, find something that affirms you or affirms your newness. What is new for you? Or, what has been resurrected and it feels new. So for me, if I know that my tone of voice is something of an issue and I have been doing better, I'm going to keep affirming myself. I am a calm person, not just mom, because then, I want this for me to apply to all areas of my life. I'm a calm person. I know how to regulate my emotions. Obviously, you got to do the self-work in there too, but we're talking about affirming yourself right now. I'm a calm person. I'm a loving person. I will speak in love. My tone will never be disrespectful. That's just an example of how you can do it. You can do it however you want to for what works for you. But that's just an example of something I've done that works for me. So just find something to affirm your newness. Find something to affirm the new process you're taking and how you handle things, or how you handle this dream that you had before, or whatever, your marriage in a new light, yourself in a new light, your children in a new light, or your friendships, whatever it is. So Number 6, go back and assess. And if you already done this, then reassess, okay? Because it's needed. So it's because sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you will be trying to resurrect something, but in the same way you were doing it the time before. And what I'm going to say for number 7 is going to go with number 6. So when you're going back to assess number 7, you need to trim off that unhealthy fat. For those of you that eat other meats that's not chicken, because I don't. Sometimes you got to trim off that unhealthy fat. Fat is flavor. Not all fat is flavor, okay? Because some of that stuff will get in there and be rotten and it'll be stank as it pertains to life. So you can't expect to do things the same exact way and hope and wish and pray even that it's just gone magically, because that's not what we do, magically be different. Like if you are trying to do the same things and do it the same way, I will say that's one reason why we see a lot of divorce the second time around. That's why that number is so much higher, because what happens is people don't go and do the work, the self-work, and they'll be trying to do in this new relationship what they did in the old one. Like, if it didn't work over there, chances are it ain't gonna work here. So go back and assess and trim off that unhealthy fat. So number 8, you can sketch, journal, and I didn't add this one to right now, or brainstorm about it. Sometimes just sketching, and you don't have to be an artist, because I'm not. Like even like these shirts, can't really see this, but this is the one that say Black military wife. But just something as simple like this, sketching out your dreams, sketching out your ideas, or journaling about it. Like I wrote it out, I sketched it out, terrible drawing, but it came out good on this shirt. So somebody got what I was trying to do or trying to say, and brainstorm. Maybe you brainstorm by yourself, maybe you do it with a friend or something, or your spouse, whatever. I brainstorm with all kinds of people. I brainstorm with friends, with associates, with my spouse, or I have with my spouse in the past, but not recently, with my kids, not strangers, because that would be odd. But yeah, brainstorming, journaling, and sketching it out is something that can help you see the things that you don't need, see the things that you need, and see the things that you need to resurrect. So, there was a song back in the day. I say back in the day. I'm not that old, but I grew up on some older music. So put it on paper. So there's something about putting it on paper that makes it come alive. The Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. I mean, some about that paper and that pen and seeing it that changes the game. It just does. It's the reason it's in the Bible. It's the reason it's sung about it. It's the reason there's, several quotes. So sketch, journal, brainstorm, whatever. That paper and that pen, powerful. That's all I'm gonna say. Number 9, change your perspective. I know, easier said than done most times, but what are ways you can change your perspective? Let's see. You can give thanks to God. You can focus on what's good. I mean, those are ways, like, I'm not saying that, but that, those are ways that you can change your perspective. It don't happen just like that, or we all be doing it. And then there will be no need for me to get up here and talk and say any of this, right? Right? Because we would all be doing it already. Because we just say, okay, I want to change my perspective, and snap, and it happens. Now, I wish it would happen like that, because honestly, that would be so much easier for a whole lot of us. But it's not that way. It's a process, and we got to work on ourselves and be able to change our perspective. And sometimes we can only see ourselves in a new light if we are doing these things, if we are releasing, if we're letting it go, if we're choosing to restore certain things that we never should have released anyway, because there are things, like I said at the beginning, things that need to be released, things that need to be restored. Now, you got to know the difference for you. I can't tell you what you need to release and what you need to restore, because I'm not you. I will say there are things that God gives us that we should just never lay down for anyone or anything. Now, there is timing in that. There's timing. It's not in our timing, but there's timing in that. But I don't think you should ever give up the things of God for anything and anyone, because he never said that. That doesn't process for me. Like, he never said, oh, I changed my mind. Oh, you ain't got to do this now because, you moved over here, or you married this person, or, you had these kids. No, you may do it differently. You may do it differently or see it differently, because God gives us things, people, situations to help us evolve. But God ain't confused about what he called us to do. It be us that be confused, but God ain't confused. He don't lie. He don't make a mistake. He not, changing his mind. So just think about those things, and changing your perspective is like everything else on this list that I just said. It's a process, and it's about growth. So lastly, but certainly not least, have a heart of love. I don't care what you do and how you do it, as far as what I've said up here. None of that matters. If you're not doing it as a means to love yourself, love your spouse, love your kids, love your friends, love associates, love just people, is it really gonna matter? Internalize it. If things that are done for you are not done in love, because you always gonna have to hear about it or whatever, do you really want it? Does it really matter to you? There's a song by Danny Goki, and if you don't know who Danny Goki is, great singer, great artist. He has this song called Love God, Love People. I love that song. It's a great song. My children want to sing it every day. I would rather us sing some different songs, but we sing it every day because they love it. And then, I guess we'll be like K-Love in here and, kill the songs. But they love it because it speaks about us overthinking stuff. And really, it's just as simple as loving God, loving people. And all of these other things will be a little bit natural rather than forced. So it definitely helps to do things in love, even as it pertains to yourself. I know we talk about doing things in love when it comes to other people, but even when it comes to just us, we need to do things in love for ourselves. So this is not in here. This is a bonus for y'all. Side note. So if you know to love yourself or love on yourself or do things in love as it pertains to yourself, is you getting a pedicure every month or every other month, whatever, girl, do that thing. If it's a massage, do that too. And sometimes I will say you don't know, or you've forgotten, or you've kind of lost touch. For me, and I'm thankful too for my friends because of this, because if it wasn't for her, it probably would have been another 12 years. Yeah, I'm trying to think about when the last time I had got one before I went with her. Probably would have been another 12 years before I got another massage. Now I go real often because it's something that I do for myself in love, not neglecting myself. And let me tell you, my body feels a whole lot. Girl, I could just praise him right here. Whole lot better than it has been feeling in the last 12 years. I'm really young, not like 19 or 20 young, but I'm really young. But when you age in military years, it's a difference. different thing. Anybody who's been in the military and then done some stuff, then had a few jobs, can tell you aging in military years is very different. But I'm thankful for the grace of God on my body. I will say that. So there's that. But in these things that I'm talking about, and releasing and resurrecting, you'll find yourself, you'll find your story. So think about it. What is your resurrection story, or what is going to be your resurrection story? Ain't nobody gonna write that for you. You're gonna write that for yourself. You are the author of your story. You can't allow anybody, anything, situation, certain, none of that to dictate what your story is gonna be. That's up to you. It don't matter how hard it's been. It don't matter how hurt you are still called for greatness. You are still the author of your story. And there is always, okay, this is my story, I'm sticking to it. There is always something good to come out of any situation. I will tell you that in this season of my life, what has been good for me is to reflect on, and I've been resurrecting, and God has been resurrecting something in me that I forgot about. Like, I forgot. And it's not just because I got married, but like, I joined the military. And, in military life, we forget that, there's this thing that we wanted to do, or there was this dream that, we had. Even if it pertains directly to the military, sometimes we forget because we get so busy, we start doing stuff, and like, it takes somebody knocking on that door and saying, hey, you remember this? Oh man, I forgot about that. God, I forgot. Or girl, or man, or y'all, I forgot about that. So what is your resurrection story going to be? What needs to be released in your life? Kick it to the curb, kick it, ninja kick it, whatever, knock it over, whatever you need to do. Release it, let it go. Release them, let them go. Forgive them, let them go. And then what needs to be resurrected? Thank y'all. Thought my kids were here. Thank y'all for joining me for Military Wives Revival Sunday. I am so happy to be doing this again. And I'm so happy to be back. Like I said, if you're not a part of Military Wives Collective on Facebook, it is a group, and we're going to be resurrecting some stuff in there. So if you're not a part of that group, check out that link below. Make sure you get in there and make sure you join and you have some fun and get to know some people. You never know who's stationed next to you, never know who live next to you or in the same area, vicinity, or whatever. You want to stay connected, and that's a big part of this. So make sure you're doing that. And then also the link for the webinar that I'll be doing will be, that link will be also in the description. So be sure to do that. So I hope you all had a happy Resurrection Sunday, Easter, whatever you want to call it, or just a happy Sunday. It's a day, just a happy day. I hope that's what has happened for you. I pray that you would get closer to your loved ones today, closer to your spouse, closer to your children, and just love on them, whatever that looks like. If it's just telling them you love them, holding their hand, squeezing their shoulders, whatever, love on them today. So remember, you're the author of your own story. No matter what is happening, you are still called for greatness. There are going to be things in your life that you need to release and things that need to be resurrected. And sometimes you can't get to resurrecting without releasing. So you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And I hope to see you next time. If you're not following me on IG, be sure to find me, Teresa Alexis Speaks. I'm really that on everything. Really, if you go to Google and type in Teresa Alexis Speaks, all my stuff will come up, my website, my store, all those things. So that may be the easiest thing for you to do. So if you're not following my business page, Teresa Alexis Speaks. Just type it in, on Facebook. You can send me a friend request, whatever. But make sure if you don't do nothing else, you love on your family, you join Military Wives Collective, and you sign up for this webinar that's happening. What? See what I'm talking about? So go ahead and do that. You all have a great day.